Have you ever been stuck at a checkout, fumbling with unfamiliar coins and bills? Imagine the embarrassment of not knowing how to pay, or worse, accidentally overpaying because you didn't understand the currency. I've definitely been there. Today, we're gonna prevent that moment. Hi everyone, I'm Reni, and in this episode of A Newcomer's Guide to Canadian Finance, we are diving deep into Canadian currency. And speaking of money, this series is brought to you in partnership with one of my favorite money apps, LemFi. Money transfers shouldn't be complicated, but we've all been there. Hidden fees eating up your hard-earned cash, waiting days for money to arrive. I don't know about you, but I really don't have time for that. LemFi is changing the game. Transfers are sent within minutes from Canada, the US, and the UK to 10 African countries. No fees, great rates, and your money lands in minutes, not days. And here's a bonus. Use my code xoReni and you'll get $10 on your first transfer of $100 or more. LemFi makes global connections simple. Now let's get back into the video. Let me give you an overview of our Canadian currency. We have a lot of different bills and coins, so let's get into them. First, let's meet the Canadian coin. So our currency is called the Canadian dollar, if you didn't know, and we first have coins and then there are also bills. So the coins first are the nickel. This is the nickel right here, and this is the smallest coin that we have. It is 5 cents. And I don't know, I don't think you can really buy anything for this much money, but it is a coin that we have. The next one is 10 cents, and this is what we call a dime. So if you hear someone referring to, can you give me a dime? That is 10 cents. This one is silver colored and it's a little bit bigger than the nickel. The next one we have is the 25-cent coin, which is the quarter. This is a larger silver coin, and you may be able to use this for like a coin-operated machine, for example, or if you're trying to pump air into your tire and it's a coin-operated machine, you can pay for it with a quarter. The next coin that we have is $1. In the US, they have $1 bills, but here in Canada, we have $1 coins. It is called the loonie, and the reason it's called a loonie is because there is a loon, which is a bird, on the coin. So this is a gold-colored coin, and it is a little bit bigger than the quarter. The last coin that we have is $2, which is a toonie. This is a two-tone coin that has a polar bear on it. So now you know all of the different coins that we have here in Canada, and honestly, for the most part, you won't really need to use them, but I think you should always have a few coins on you because there are some situations where you may need coins. For example, if you're paying for parking, or if you're paying for shopping carts at the grocery store, or any other coin-operated machine, sometimes they don't accept any bills, they only accept coins. Now let's go into the next category, bills. So there are lots of different bills that we have here in Canada. The first one that you can see right here is a $5 bill. This one is blue, and yeah, you can buy a few things with this, not much, but you can buy a few things. Next, we have the $10 bill, my favorite color, purple. And then we have the $20 bill. This one is green, and this is the most common bill that we have in Canada. Most times when you see people spending money, it's probably a $20 bill that they're then gonna break into a 10 or a 5 after that. We have two more bills, the $50 bill, which is red, and the $100 bill, which is brown. You don't really see many people walking around with $100 bills, but they are out there. Some of the cool features about our bills are that one, it is made of polymer material. This means that it's basically plastic. It looks like Monopoly money. And because of this, the money is very durable and there are advanced security features. So I'd say it's very hard to replicate a bill that you see in Canada. Let me know, which Canadian coin or bill design do you find to be most interesting? Leave a comment down below. Let me do an international comparison for all of us. Let's compare our Canadian dollar to the US dollar. If you look at it physically, our bills are very colorful, where theirs have pretty much no color. Our bills are stronger physically. So if I was trying to rip a Canadian dollar versus a US dollar, it would be much easier to rip the US dollar. But if we're talking about exchange rates, Canada's dollar does not really compare to the US dollar. The US dollar is much, much, much stronger, typically. I think for the past many years, since I've been a kid, it has been stronger than the Canadian dollar. So that's just one thing to know. It also fluctuates with global markets. And I'll say if you are abroad, it is pretty easy to exchange your Canadian dollar, but it's definitely not as easy as the US dollar. US dollars are more widely accepted than our dollar. Now that you know the bills and the coins that we have in Canada, let's talk about the different payment methods that we have here. There are three main ways to pay here: cash, credit, and debit. Let me explain each one. First, cash. So cash, as you know, the coins that I mentioned earlier, the bills that I mentioned earlier, you're actually giving this person the physical cash. I would say this is still used in Canada, but it is declining. Me personally, I haven't used cash in a long time. I really don't take out cash for anything if it's not needed. I will say that some businesses actually do prefer to receive cash, and some businesses only accept cash. So it's always good to have $50, maybe $100 in your wallet, just in case somebody decides that they do not want to accept your card. So some businesses that may want cash include small local businesses, farmers markets, and also you may want to have some cash in case of tipping. So let's say you go to a restaurant and you want to tip the waiter or waitress. That may be a time that you need some cash. The second way to pay that we have is debit. Debit is directly linked to your bank account. So you get a card, and if you put that card in a POS system, it will instantly take the money from your account and put it directly into the other person's account. With this method of payment, this is your cash that you are using, so there's no interest payment that you will incur here, and debit is accepted almost everywhere. I will say that as we keep getting more and more advanced, some businesses actually are only accepting credit cards, but for the most part, you will be able to use your debit card almost anywhere. In Canada, debit is run on what we call the Interac network, and this is the company that runs all the debit across the entire country. The last method that we have here is credit. So credit cards are a very deep topic, and I will do a few videos on that if you want. So make sure to like this video if you want to see those. But credit is basically borrowed money that you have from somebody else. They will give you a limit of, let's say, $500, $1,000, and you are able to spend up to that limit, but they will charge you interest after a certain number of days. With credit, you always want to pay it back on time. And again, I'll have to do a full video on how to utilize credit to your advantage. But credit is not a bad thing. It actually helps you build your credit history in this country, which is very, very, very important. One of the perks and the main benefits of using your credit card is that there are lots of rewards and you can often get cash back, and also that your credit card will often be recognized internationally. So I know many of us probably know about MasterCard and Visa. These are examples of different credit card companies. You can use them not only in Canada, but also in other countries as well. The only thing I really want to caveat for this is that it is a form of debt. So you do want to use careful management when you are using your credit card. So it's also important to protect your money. If you are going to walk around with a lot of cash, just beware of your surroundings. And there are probably certain areas you should go and certain areas you may not want to go, as safe as Canada is. Second, there is debit protection. So if you are going to be using your debit card, set transaction alerts for your card. This allows you to see if somebody is using your card that is not you. You'll get an instant notification so you can then go on your mobile app and block that card. One of the main benefits of your debit card is that you can freeze your card instantly. So again, if you get that alert that somebody else is using your card, just go into the app and immediately freeze the card so nobody can use it. One thing to know about both your debit card and your credit card is that you're able to tap these cards. When I say tap, that means there's a POS machine, and instead of inserting it, you can just tap your card. Because of this, that means anybody can tap your card if they have access to it. So it's important to put a limit on how much money can be spent when tapped. A lot of people put their limit at $100, and if the purchase is more than $100, then you have to insert your card, use the chip and the PIN in order to get access to the money. This is a good safety measure that you should definitely put in place. The last protection strategy would be for credit cards. Credit cards, again, are great, but because they are higher limits, that means you are at higher risk of losing more money. So I want you to first monitor your statements on a regular basis. Remember, it's very easy for someone to just spend on your credit card if they have access to it. So you really want to monitor your statements to see if you recognize all the transactions that are on there. Also, you can use credit monitoring services like Borrowell. I'll leave a link down below. It's a free credit monitoring service where you can see if anybody has opened new lines of credit in your name or if your limits are being used. So just take a look at Borrowell and open an account there. Just like your debit card, you can also set spending limits for this card as well. As you're probably new to this country and you may want to send money back home, next week we're going to explore how you can send money internationally very easily. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed. If you enjoyed watching this or you have any questions, leave them down below and give a like to this video. Thank you so much to LemFi for sponsoring this series, and we will see you next week for the next video. Bye!